Welcome back to another episode. It's April 15th. We are a few days away from the NBA playoffs. Um, as you all have probably heard already, um, Detroit Pistons gonna be playing 6:30 Sunday. Don't know who the opponent is quite yet. Having I don't know, somewhat an idea of who it could be, but won't really know until this weekend. Um, I guess I'll say I know who I might want, but we're gonna talk about that. Yeah, it's the playoffs right around the corner. Just kind of like a summary of the season overall. Just where they started a couple years ago, losing like 60 some games to where they are now, winning 60 games. We'll dive into that a little bit as well. But yeah, no, I'll kick it over to you and just uh, want to see your thoughts on just I guess the season in a nutshell to start off there.
Yeah, so I would say season as a nutshell in a nutshell would be spectacular and ahead of schedule. It would and just kind of refreshing as a whole to see the team come together this quickly.
Mhm.
Pieces seemingly that we just pulling off the bench, off the G League or wherever. Javante Green, Danny Jenkins, whoever just playing tough nose basketball, a good solid 8, 9, 10 deep. So I would say just spectacular up to this date, up to this speed. And I think about it, we did this from 60 losses to 60 wins in 2 seasons. Has to be damn near a record. Dead in the water, dead franchise, not even 2.5 years ago. So I'm just ecstatic that they were able to kind of get this milestone here. We all know that the real milestones happen within the playoffs, but I think in order to get playoff success, you do have to have regular season success. So, I'm thrilled for the guys, man. How are you feeling about it overall? 60 wins.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know, it's kind of crazy. It makes me think about that season before last. If we would have had competent coaching, it's like what would that have looked like? You know what I mean? Because like you said, it kind of feels ahead of schedule because it's accelerated so fast. I mean, once you got competent coaching staff in there, like competent front. I mean, I guess even to the front office, like able to kind of change all that over. We always kind of saw flashes of what we might have, but I don't think I ever saw this coming this soon. Like, I mean, I thought it might have been like 50 games, give or take, as far as
Yeah,
wins. But
I when you speak about kind of the name who won't be spoken as far as Monty Williams and what he may or may not have been doing, maybe we should open an investigation on him as far as roster suppression. But um, it was it's night and day with largely the same roster. Obviously the players have matured and got older, but largely the same roster. So, I flash back to Cade sitting on that stage when we're in the middle of that 28 game losing streak. And he said, "We are not 2-28 bad." And
yeah,
I think he meant that with his soul. He meant that with every bone he had. So I think, maybe that year they really should have been like a 30 ish, maybe mid 20, 30 win team, bad, but, serviceable. And then the year after that, probably fighting for a play in type team. But, um, but no, we were held down. They were, so say all that to say you flash forward to where we are now. I hate to see, just the only blemish on this whole season is Cade sitting there at a 64 games. That's just going to irk me for no reason,
yeah,
other than he just deserves those accolades. And if he didn't go down with a freak injury, we are probably having pretty serious Cade Cunningham MVP talks right now.
yeah.
I think, let's just flash in a pan. He never goes down. He he was playing at a very high clip. The team more or less would probably be still sitting there at 60 wins, so you would have locked that up, and he would have probably had another 2 3 phenomenal all on the major stage type game. So that just sucks from his standpoint. But you look at his season here.
Just real quick, he had
Points were
opportunity. Like he missed out on opportunity to go head to head with Shy. or SGA,
Mm-hmm.
to where like the Pistons took them to overtime with like four guys, like four rotational guys, including him missing. So it's just like he had like that matchup. He had a couple other like big games in there. They played Minnesota a couple times. Um, to where it's like this would have been, yeah, it would have been like make some noise and like you said, really be in the MVP talk. So sorry, I didn't mean to, but
No, 100%. I think that's great. Exactly what I'm trying to say. Where he is,
yeah,
all that will be forgiven with a great playoff run.
well,
And I think he knows that. We know that. But I think sitting here where we are now, I would have loved for him to just somehow get one more game, or for him not to have gone down at all, just to see what that would have looked like.
well,
Um,
well,
but
hopefully he
you
can put in a little thing that Luka doing.
yeah, he needs to file some sort of petition. I would, just for nothing else, just for the sake of doing it.
Hmm.
I really got hurt here. I'm not playing manipulation games. Um, but for his season, just to recap it, 64 games. So down 6 games from last year, down about 2 minutes a game from last year. Points down 2 minutes or two a game. Field goal percentage about the same. 3-point about the same. Free throws same. Rebounds down. Assists up. Steals up. Turnovers down. So he's very consistent. 24, 9, and the other numbers are blocked out. But like 24, 9, and 7 probably. So I
Hmm.
think he is locked himself, solidified himself as top 2, 3 guard in the East, top 2, 3 point guard overall. And I think with him having 3 games under his belt, I think our projection was spot on. We said he was going to play somewhere sub 30 minutes just to get those feet wet, just to kind of get
Yep.
back into use. And he was out there just dishing the diamond. That's what he was looking to do, just run, get his legs back. He has a week off or during this week here as he prepares for Sunday. So I imagine he'll be that much stronger. And I think he would, kind of let the cat out of the bag. But I think we both think we're going to play the Charlotte Hornets. And although they are a feisty team, can at times shoot the lights out, have many guys who have an automatic green light. I think we both think in a 7 game series, it won't go nowhere near 7 games, and we will, you know, kind of be sitting in the driver's seat in many of those games, and maybe like a gentleman's
Well,
sweep. Yeah,
yeah, no, I'm with you there. Yeah, I mean, a lot of that what you said is just it'll be interesting to see how they can like as this thing gets rolling, Cade getting back healthy, what all they can really do. Say don't want to look too far ahead, but man, it's exciting times. Um, and yeah, I mean, we're gonna have I think the biggest thing, health, having a full roster. We got Isaiah Stewart. I think like players like that. I mean that didn't have last year. So as long as I think it's gonna come down to keeping that floor spacing, open so Cade can operate the way he needs to. Guys gonna have to hit shots. But I do think like where we like a team like the Hornets, for example, is how they able to like really kind of beat them is just like pound the paint. Like they just don't have the people down there to be able to like hang. They don't have like that great like rim protection. To where I mean you just hope they just don't catch fire from three. But I mean, like a guy like a top three defense in the league, something like that, top five defense in the league. Think we are. So like, yeah. I mean, every time we watched them, we just they played each other. I feel like they just kind of like we've been able to kind of like strong arm them for the most part and just take care of business that way. I see it being the same.
yeah, I agree with you. I think in over over a 4 game stretch, it is over a 4 game stretch or 7 game stretch, 4 games best of 4. It is just too much manpower for him. I think we have
Mhm.
far more quality depth bench, um, better coaching, better top end talent, and so I think we're just leaning
Yeah.
on all of that. And like you said, ultimately just push them around. I think we all. I should have said, but at one point in the year we were led the NBA in points in the paint. So I imagine we fit somewhere in that top 3, top 5 in there as well. So that's our bread and butter. And then I've seen over the last 6 weeks, that's been a top 6 3-point percentage made. So if you mirror those two things together, that's the beginning of a great playoff run. So I think, uh, you got to come to play. I think this is the team we got in a little fisticuff with earlier in the year. So there is a little bit of bad blood out there. I think you can't let them get you out of your game too much, Isaiah Stewart. You got to play sound and play your game, but also don't let them disrupt you for future round 2, Isaiah Stewart. And I think just continue to play within just the confines of what they allow you to do without getting too reckless. And I think Duran is ready to play. He's looking at a max contract. He feels it in the air, smells it in the air. A big playoff run is not going to hurt that for him as well. And then, Danny Jenkins just playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
Stepping up. So I think a lot of things are mirroring together here that I think we continue to gel all that for this first round. And then we can get out of this damn first round for the first time since we were sitting there taking out 1 or 2.
Yeah, 07, 08, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, all things are trending in the right direction. Think they catching fire at the right time. I think the team needs to have a load of confidence. Like, look what we were able to do without Cade. Now we got Cade back. Everybody, fully healthy. It was one of them things where I feel like chemistry will carry them through this first round. Overall, it's just gonna be, man, talk about this got me thinking I might have to just go ahead and make the trip Sunday, but
Yeah.
I mean it's gonna be.
No, the only one weird thing I want to throw this out is, looking at the Charlotte Hornets, 44 and 38 overall, right? But since January 1, since the calendar year, they are 23 and 11. So that is a completely different team. That is winning roughly like 67% of your games, which technically puts you in like top 3 in the East. Not saying that's there, but that is an interesting dynamic to play a team that is coming off so hot. Now, they were at one point just wingling off wins. So I think if you narrow this down a little bit, they've even cooled off more recently. But I think that just shows you how streaky of shooters they are, where if things are falling for them, it will be a long night for you. I think that Con Knipple I was 100% wrong about him. I didn't see any of this shit as far as checking it out. But 2 players with 200 made threes this season, and Con Knipple and Lonzo Ball, both have green lights anywhere with their heels past the logo. They can pull, and the coach will be mad.
Brandon Miller.
You said what?
Brandon Miller.
Yep, Brandon Miller can hit. That's what I was next to. Brandon Miller and then Miles Bridges. And neither one of them slouches from 3 either. So I think they got a lot out there. It's just a matter of playing our game. I'm not nervous. It's just it is a good test for the first round. I think you just got to take care of business, because I think it's not one of those ones where you can't sleep on them.
Right.
They get hot. You're going to have to make sure you're switching. You're going to have to make sure you're playing sound defense, which I think prepares you to be able to do that on steroids versus Boston, or do that on steroids versus the Knicks, or however that works out.
Right.
But looking at the lay of the land, man, we got out so hot, and then just watched Boston, who's kind of lingering. They were better than we thought they were, but lingering around that, 6-4-5, and then they catapult at the, Knicks, flying high all year, and then they kind of cool off. They kind of had lost a little steam. We talking about them that way, so I think the East it's disrespected, but it's an interesting dynamic out there, especially with Tatum back, especially with Cade back. I think it's it's going to get interesting to see how that all kind of plays out, man. I want to see these boys get that first win at the house this Sunday. I think we'll record one more time after that, but I would love to get the brooms out, man. But it's just in general, just make sure you're taking care of business and get this first round here. This has to get off the bucket list here.
Most definitely. got to check off like so we're doing a lot of just talking back and forth, but they got to check off the first order of business, winning that home playoff game. Got to take care of home. It'd be great to just kind of get one out the way and just automatically put the pressure on them game two to try to tie it. So yeah, and I think that's overall what has to absolutely happen. I think from here you want to give like a game one prediction and then like a series prediction, like how many games?
Yeah. Assuming it's the Charlotte Hornets, I mean that's not assuming I think, but I think in general, I think we'll get out the gates on them quick. I go like a 116-95 game one,
Okay.
4-1, 4-1 gentleman sweep on them.
Okay. I'm gonna do like 110 to like 98. And I think they'll win in five.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
agree. I think that's the maturation of this team. Um, just not the overhaul, not to repeat everything again, but just to make sure you take care of business and um, as much rest as you can continue to get for Cade. And not that I think he's nearing healthy enough, but I think many of these games you could put away early and make sure he's on the bench. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. So
right.
yeah,
No, most
and
definitely.
then I think next week we're gonna talk about maybe a little NFL draft. It's a little funky this year. It's not as fun looking at the big stinky old linemen week in and week out. There's a handful of them to shuffle through. So and we're picking at 17, and but I think uh, they always find a way to make it interesting for us.
For
I'll
sure.
never forget us drafting. Well, who was it? Hutch. Who did we circle back and then get JMO? Was it Hutch the Hutch year? But I remember
Yeah.
running up to the store, and then you text me that we just moved up to get Jameson Williams. And I'm like, God damn! Like I can't even run to the corner store real quick. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I think we always
Yeah.
find a way to keep it interesting.
No, for
Yeah.
sure. We'll be curious to see. I mean, like I think we talked about before we got on here, it's been great. It's kind of focused on the Pistons and have
Mm-hmm.
been taking a peek at the draft. I'm a little bit, just kind of some of the prospects. Like you said, probably not targeting and all much of a. I mean, hell, I think if it is a trend, it is a sexy pick for the Lions. That would be a sexy pick is getting a guy, getting like an O lineman, defensive end, something like that. But like you said,
For sure.
Brad always got something up his sleeve. Um, so I think there's a lot more on the table that we could go after than we probably even think or realize too. But we'll know in due time. Like you said, we'll run through some potential prospects next Wednesday and talk about game one, and then yeah, that'd be the night of game two. We'll be recording. So be back with y'all
Yes, sir.
next week.
Yep. Peace.